This is your host Nandini Ray, and you are listening to the Maitri podcast between friends, conversations with Maitri. Today, on this platform, we will share a powerful story of resilience, courage, and healing. I have Anju K with me. Anju is a blogger, community influencer, a keynote speaker, and most importantly, she is a healer. She's a healer for many survivors of domestic violence. Anju herself is a domestic violence and sexual assault survivor. Her life has been a continuous struggle during and after the abuse, but she didn't give up. She turned her pain into purpose and started a new journey to find her peace. She is using her blog, Healing to Peace, to give hope to survivors of domestic violence. You can read her blog on Healing to Peace, number two, healing, then number two, peace, PEACE.com. Thank you, Anju, for coming to our show.
Thank you so much. And that was a powerful introduction, I must say. I feel honored and I feel more powerful the words you used to describe me and my journey. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. Listeners, before we start our conversation, I would like to give you a trigger warning that in our discussion, Anju's painful past will come up, and it is disturbing and heartbreaking. This conversation is not appropriate for children, so please be mindful of that. So, Anju, tell us about your life story.
My day is like not just life, my every single day is a story, a real one. So when people come up judging, I'm like, yeah, you can judge me because I'm real. And that's their job to judge me, but I don't care.
Hmm.
I suffered from the first day of our relationship. I suffered like literally from the first day. And every time I get questioned that then why you stay?
Hmm.
Like, why didn't you leave if it was from the first day? And I'm like, that's a tough question
Hmm.
because there is not just one reason why I said I tried to leave many times, but there are so many other consequences which keeps pulling survivors or victims back to the situation, and one of them is trauma bond.
Hmm.
Like it's like it's not easy to leave, and when we say it takes 7 times for a survivor or a victim to leave, I don't think so that's a particular like I don't know why they have got like that specific number like 7, because in 13 years I don't know how many times I tried to leave and then I was like forced to go back. Like many times I went because of the reason, and many times I was literally forced by the community, by the relatives, by the families to go back. So
So, what kind of abuse did you suffer?
I will say you just name it and I suffered that.
Oh,
Be it, yeah, like most of the time in domestic violence people only see physical abuse as a parameter to say it like it is a domestic violence situation. So I have suffered physical abuse, talking about I have like 120 or plus injuries over my head. Because of that I can't drive, I
God.
pass out without any reason. I have 24 stitches over my face. I don't know how many other body injuries, permanent eye damage, and I survived 25 abortions. Yes, 25 abortions. That's a big number. And I'm like, oh, I survived. I'm so powerful. I
So this
survived
is
that much.
really, I mean, it's heartbreaking. But when you used to go to your medical professionals, didn't they suspect anything?
Okay, so yes, this is a question I have to answer again and again. He was the owner of the hospital. He was in medical line. So doctors
Oh.
were under his control. He made my bedroom a hospital. I was given IVs, fluids, or whenever I needed some treatment when I was bleeding, doctors were called at home and I was getting treated at home.
Hmm. It's
So
so heartbreaking to hear this kind of story. So when someone has so much power and control over victims, and they can do anything they like, and victims suffer in silence. So my
yeah,
heart.
here I want to interrupt. Like the definition of domestic violence and abusing someone is completely different, especially in Asian community.
Hmm.
Like I'm in US from 4 years, and right now I'm working as an advocate. So I meet so many survivors and victims every other day from different parts of the world. People call me. But what I have observed as coming from the Asian community, especially these South Asian countries, here the abusers, they just don't kill in one go. They
Hmm.
kill the victim like every single second, like a slow poison.
Hmm.
They just don't come and shoot you. Yes, that happens, but before that they just treat their victim like some toy or something. They keep hurting them every other single way. They just let their self-esteem, confidence, and everything at zero. That at
Hmm.
some point the victim or the survivor start believing that they are the problem.
Hmm.
So it takes time to realize and recognize. So whenever I share my story, okay, I relive my trauma every single day because I'm speaking my own story. I'm not reading any other story. So
Yeah.
it hit me. But like, it's not easy to recognize abuse. And domestic violence has so many faces, it's really difficult to understand it. Even the professionals, when they hear any story of any survivor, they are also like, okay, this situation is completely different from the other one.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right that everyone is unique individual. Their story is unique. Their journey of abuse and healing and everything is unique. And you were absolutely right that and there's so much gray area, and people sometimes uh, miss to understand or realize that there are so many kinds of abuse and violence, and they're overlapping, and the main thing is that someone is in pain, someone is suffering in silence. So but kudos to you that you didn't give up. You just you didn't suffer in silence. You transform your life from a victim to a survivor, and you are now a community influencer, and you are helping so many people. So how did you transform your life from that situation to now this situation?
First of all, the first step was to recognize and accept it, that yes, I was abused. I
Hmm.
was in denial mode. I suffered for 13 years with so many injuries. During that time, also, I was helping other women. If I
Hmm.
saw any woman getting abused physically or mentally, I went to her and I helped her.
Hmm.
And coming back to my home, like the same thing was happening with me inside my
But you
own.
didn't recognize,
But I was like,
in
no.
denial.
Okay, so what were the words? I want to be specific about the words, how I was in denial mode. I was like, no, he just got drunk a little extra tonight. That's why he
Hmm.
hit. No, maybe he was very stressed about his work. Maybe
Hmm.
he was not having a good relationship with his parents.
Hmm.
Maybe, uh, okay, at some point, I want to especially highlight this. Maybe the moon and sun are in not good position. I,
Oh.
I was told, okay, fast on Monday. I did that. Okay, now sleep on this direction. I did that. Yes, I have been through that phase also.
Hmm.
Okay, you have to worship that stone. Okay, I did that.
Hmm.
Okay, don't say this. Don't say that.
You tried your best to stop that abuse or to prevent that violence.
I am very well educated. I have three bachelors and one master's. Even
Hmm.
then, I was in the belief that maybe something is wrong with the star position or sun position or moon position. So
Hmm.
if I will do this, maybe he will get better. And
Oh.
especially what I have observed in my healing journey, the increase in domestic violence situation during the time of festivals. It doesn't matter it's Hindu festival or Christian festival, whatever it is, it
mm,
increases. So I was forced from the community and told that maybe something bad soul or something is there. That's why he reacts specifically on occasions or festivities. And now I understand, no, that's
mm,
not true. There is no bad soul. He is the bad one.
mhm. So we know that victim, when we know that victim should never be at fault for the trauma they have been put through, and but we see so many times that victims are the one who are blamed, who are shamed, who are not supported, and sometimes, as you are saying, that community give community members give you false direction, false hope that do this, it will, then abuse will, violence will stop, and victims get confused, and sometimes they start believing that maybe it's their fault that it is happening with them, maybe they should do something that to stop that abuse. And many of our clients told us that my own family asked me to do adjust,
Yeah.
or they told me to change my behavior, or to do something to pacify my abuser or to stop the abuse, something like that. So have you ever faced any blaming from your community at any point that it is happening because of
Yes.
you?
Yes. Okay. So when I delivered my son, it was by C-section again because it is like I want to label it with a trigger warning.
Mm,
I delivered my baby because of the C-section as he pushed me from the bed. So it was emergency delivery.
mm,
And then on the third day, he wanted to, now I will say he wanted to abuse me sexually.
mm,
I reached out to my mother-in-law.
mm,
She said that you haven't delivered a baby normally, like through vagina.
mm.
So it's okay.
Oh my God. So
And
she was also taking part in that abuse indirectly.
yeah, so like, especially in our community, why women suffer because we don't have enough support from other women in our own families.
Mm,
So yes, I was abused, and after 11 days, I was lying in the hospital.
mm. So, it is really heartbreaking to hear all your story. And, I think sometimes we don't get, women especially don't get support from families and friends. Maybe it's because of patriarchal beliefs. Patriarchal beliefs create power imbalance between partners,
Yes,
and that justify male control over their female partner. And that's why probably we see not support, enough support
yeah,
from family.
yes.
And
And I think in our community, we need to come forward and talk openly about these things. There is no shame in sharing all these things. I suggest them not to brush these things under the carpet
mm,
because otherwise it will come up someday. You never know when it will come up and how it will come up. Secondly, don't try to be a judge. Or if someone opens to someone, don't try to fix the situation. You are not the person who knows exactly how to handle the situation. So please connect them to the right resources. Don't
mm,
try to do it like, no, it's okay, he's your husband, and every like relationship take time. Like I was told that 10 years of any relationship are difficult. If you pass that phase, then you are going to have a wonderful life, wonderful marriage, and wonderful relationship.
mm.
I got divorced after 13 years.
Mm.
Like I already
Yeah, you're right. Many times we see many community members are focusing on what victims should do to stop abuse, while they should be actually focusing on what abusers should do to change their harmful behavior so that they don't perpetrate abuse and violence. And so that's the problem. We that the way you started the conversation, that many people asked you that why didn't you leave? where they should ask the question that why did he abuse, right? So I completely, understand what you were going through, what you
Okay.
went through.
Just to answer this question, why I didn't leave, like they are asking me the question and they are answering it by themselves. 1 year back, like my journey is not very old. First of all, I became a community influencer and changing the norms. People have decided a timeline
Hmm.
for healing. According to them, it takes like a this time period to get back
Hmm.
to their own feet or something. I got divorced this year, like just 10 months back.
Hmm.
And today I have my own life. I created my presence in the city, in the community. I have a voice which is very powerful. I take a stand for not just for myself, I take a stand for others also. So,
Hmm.
for this also, they are coming to judge me like maybe she was not abused that badly. That's why she healed so fast.
Oh.
Maybe that was not too bad. That's why she is standing and talking so powerful. Like when I was in the situation that time also they came up judging me like why don't you just leave? Why you are suffering if he's so bad? And
Hmm.
when I left again they asked me like then why you suffered for so long? And now when I am on my healing journey again they are coming like maybe that was not too bad. That's why you healed so fast. I'm like you are not going to decide that.
It is so so hard to even I know I don't know how to answer these questions that how to, what we are in 2022 and people still do victim blaming. Still they shame victims and they don't support and they ask all these kind of nonsense questions. So it is very very sad to even to
Yeah, it hurts. It
hearing.
hurts. Sometimes it feels like I'm fighting against my community, and then I wake up and I talk to my therapist, I talk to the right people, and then I'm like, no, I'm not fighting against any particular community or any particular individual. I'm just fighting against the crime. I'm
Yeah.
fighting against the not good thing. 1 year back, when I took a decision to go to a shelter, I was in a shelter for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the first questions that came to me from my own family, from my in-laws, I was considered the best daughter-in-law
Mm.
before that, like because I was suffering. I suffered everything, and even then I was quiet.
Because
I
you
was
were silent and so that's why you were going uh, on their path, so that's why you were a
yeah,
good daughter-in-law.
yeah. So, but when I took a decision to take a stand for myself, the first question came from the family, again from a woman, my sister-in-law, that why you left? You were having food, good life, luxury lifestyle, money, savings, expensive clothes, jewelry. Then why? And I'm like, I was not expecting this question from you because you were there when I was bleeding and you were helping me to stop the blood.
Hmm. So
And
I understand that many times people are insensitive. They ask, all nonsense questions. They don't suffer. They themselves probably don't suffer. That's why they don't understand that someone is suffering and their pain, or it is possible that they themselves are suffering, but they are not acknowledging. They are in
yeah,
denial, and they are they don't want to go against patriarchal culture. So there are so many gray areas. I don't know why people behave sometimes the way they shouldn't. But I also believe that some people are there who are in our culture. Some people are not helping survivors, but some people there are. We
yes.
see that they are helping survivor. They are standing firmly with the survivor. They want to end domestic violence in our community. So have you come across anyone who supported you
Yes.
during your rough time?
Yes, that's the reason why I started my blog Healing to Peace. When I was looking for the resources, I found many resources, but it was very difficult to trust anyone
Mm,
because I was betrayed from the person I loved the most in my life. He was my partner, my life partner, my husband. So
mm,
now it was very difficult to trust anyone. So
mm,
the first organization that came, I call them my masi, like my mother. That organization, I'm in San Antonio right now, and we have organization for South Asian countries, Awaz. They
mhm,
are wonderful. It was like whenever I needed any kind of support, be it financial, mental, or physical, or legal, they always came first to help me. And now I consider them like everyone in the organization. I call them like my masi, my mother, like my mom's sister.
mm.
So they helped me a lot. They gave me voice. Awaz means voice, and they gave me my voice.
So it's good that you found ours, and I hope that if someone is suffering in silence and they're here listening to this podcast, they also find Awaz or Maitri or any
Yeah,
agency. There are so many agencies are out there who provide free and confidential help so that they can get help, right resources. And those who are listening to our podcast today, please know that everyone knows someone who is suffering from domestic violence or abuse, and they need support from us, from all of us, from their family, from their friends, from their community. And if anyone reaches out to you with their story, please believe them. Allow your friend and family to speak and let them know that you believe and what they're telling you, and don't judge them, and you are not in their shoes, as you said, Anju, that they sometimes don't know what I'm going through, what you were going through, they didn't know. So that's why probably they just judged you. So please, listeners, please don't judge anyone, and if you can support them in any way, do that. Offer your support, offer your help, let them know that they're not alone, they and that no one deserves to be hurt. And provide them resources, ask them how you can best support them, and encourage them to reach out to community resources, connect them with the crisis lines. Like Maitri provides free and confidential support. Maitri's number is toll free number is 1-888-862-4874. Can visit Maitri website, maitri.org, Maitri, to know our services, our helpline times, everything in detail. And the National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE, or 1-800-799-7233. And as Anju said, she found help and support from Awaz. So anyone, you can find your local domestic violence agencies. If you don't know, if you don't have any option to find out how to find out, call Maitri. We will help you to find out your local agency.
yeah. Here I want to include something. Awaz is the organization that connected me with Maitri too. And I feel like now I have my own community. So
Oh, thank you. So, Anju, I know that you have shared your story of abuse and pain and humiliation many times on public platforms. Your story has been published on many social media, blogs, and news media, San Antonio
yeah,
News.
Fox and like I my story has been covered by most of the local like San Antonio news channels, even in Spanish also.
Okay. So I
Yeah,
I know it takes a lot of courage and strength to show your vulnerability, pain, and your wound to other people. So, and it must be very painful revisiting your trauma every time you share your story. So why are you revisiting your painful past? How is it helping you anyways?
okay, it is helping me in two ways. First of all, by sharing my story is not going to change my past. Many people get confused. Maybe she is sharing to get sympathy, and I'm like, no, your sympathy is not going to change anything for my life or what I'm
Absolutely.
going through. But whenever I speak, I give power to myself. If I can survive that, I can speak and write about it. It was not me who did that thing. What I suffered, it was not my fault. So whenever I speak those words loudly, I acknowledge them. And then I know where I am in my healing, where I have to work more in my healing. I talk to my therapist, I talk to my doctors, because for me, it was not just one incident that he slapped me and okay, now it was just one incident. I was abused every single minute for continuously 13 years, like half of my life. So this is my first reason why I share, to give myself my power back. And the second reason is maybe someone can resonate with it. Maybe they can relate at some point.
Mm.
And if it is helping one life, I am ready to pinch my wounds again and again, again and again. If it is giving help or like a hope to others, I am ready to do that, because that's my purpose of my life. Why I survive, not to suffer in silence, not to get killed in silence. I survived, so I prefer to say it loud. And I always say, you should speak. Maybe it will make a difference in your life or in your listeners' life. You
So
should
I'm
always
sure your story will give power and hope to many people who are suffering out there. And thank you for kudos to you to share your pain and vulnerability just to help others. One, to help you to give more power to you, and to help others also to give more power to them. So thank you. And at Maitri, we are putting a big effort in prevention field, and because we want whatever we are doing right now. At most importantly, we are supporting survivors. We are putting bandage over their wound, but we must talk about prevention. Otherwise, we will be doing whatever we are doing, like putting our bandage
yes,
on someone's wound. So we are talking with community members. We are trying to find out that what are the root causes of partner violence, how we can prevent this domestic violence, partner violence, gender-based violence in our community. What can be done? How can we educate and engage more people in this prevention journey? I mean, when we discuss this kind of thing, many times we see that, the cultural norms, some cultural norms, harmful cultural norms or cultural conditioning, actually, support domestic violence. So do you blame any cultural norms for domestic violence, or did you challenge any social cultural norms in
yes.
your life?
I am a challenger here. I am changing a lot of narratives here. Most of the time, we just focus on woman empowerment. We don't focus on men education. I prefer saying like, we just don't need to tell women how to be careful. We need to tell the men handle with care.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just teaching our girls how to take a stand for themselves, we need to train and teach our son also, like how to be a gentleman. We need to make them understand that how to handle the other person, how to treat the other person with respect, to get the respect. By force, you can't get anything. By abusing someone, you can't get anything. You have to earn it. So when we talk about survivors or victims, we just focus on men. When I started my healing to peace blog, I was like told maybe she's going to talk about just women empowerment. I'm like, no, I have two kids, one son and one daughter, and both of them have suffered. If I'm just focusing on one gender, then it means I am ignoring my own son, and maybe I don't know how he will grow up. So we
Yes.
need to take care of both the genders. We need to tell them how to treat a woman, how to treat a person like a human being, not like an object. And like then second thing, what we have to do, we have to become an active listener, not to judge anyone. If someone tries to open up about something, listen to them. If you don't know what to do, please connect them with the resources. There are so many organizations, non-profit organization in India and in US. Like there are so many organizations. Just connect them with them. Talk to the right person. If you can't find them, connect them with any doctor or law enforcement people. They will connect them. Don't try to shut them at the place. And then obviously we have to be a little open about speaking about things. We have to normalize to talk about this. And
Yeah, so
then,
there is a stigma associated with domestic violence. No one wants to talk about it.
yeah,
So
and here
we must,
we want to
break that
focus
stigma.
on one line when we say, oh, we are talking about domestic violence, kids are not allowed to come and listen this. So, okay. So then you should consider this also when the abuse was happening, kids were there or not. Did you remove the kids from that place? No.
Mm.
When any abuser do their thing, they abuse any victim, they don't see what age they are like disturbing. They don't see their kids are there or not. They just do it. So when we are trying to educate people, then why we are removing the kids from that location?
We should teach our children from very young age
Yes.
about gender equity, about to be respectful to all
Yes.
people, to all genders. And we must do a lot of community discussion. What I'm hearing that you were suggesting, that a lot of community discussion, engaging youth, engaging young men, and so that collectively we do our best to end domestic violence and to create a safe community for all genders. So if
Yes.
I am asking you that you have 1 minute to give a solid strong message to someone who is suffering in silence, then what will that be?
First of all, my message to the victim who is right now suffering or a survivor who has ever suffered and still quiet, you are not alone. You are never alone. You
Mhm.
matter, and what you are feeling, that's not crazy. You matter. Whatever your feelings are, those are true. Trust them and reach out. Help is available. Only you have to make just one move. Just please open up, reach out. You will give your one hand and you will receive 100 hands to help you. So just please open up. You are not crazy.
Oh, thank you. What a powerful message. And if you are given chance to give a message to our community members, to our listeners, to all community members, in fact, so what will that be?
This I am going to be a little personal. I will say, my dear community, I belong to you. I love you. I have strong roots, which I have generated because of you. And I'm never going to leave you. So please don't throw me out of the community because I made my own choice to take a stand for myself and I became a cycle breaker. Please let me come in so I can make a difference in the community.
So, in a sense, you are saying you are requesting community members to embrace all survivors, do not shut them out because they suffer domestic violence, right?
Yeah. Yes. And they took a stand for themselves. So please
Support them.
support them. That's all we are asking. We're not asking any place in your home. We are just asking a little kindness and compassion from you. We already suffered a lot. So please give us that. Don't make assumptions about us that why we took a stand for ourselves. It can happen to anyone around you also.
Yes, domestic violence can happen to anyone, and we should be mindful that do not to hurt anyone and to support everyone who is a survivor or victim. So thank you, Anju. Thank you for this wonderful discussion. Those who are listening to our podcast today, I would request you to reflect and ask yourselves that what you are doing to prevent gender-based violence and the epidemic of domestic violence that we are seeing in our communities. In 2022, we have lost so many valuable lives due to domestic violence. And by remaining silent, we are only enabling abusers and allowing the cycle of abuse to continue. So let's not repeat our mistake in the coming year in 2023. Let's join hands to end gender-based violence, domestic violence, partner violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stand in solidarity with the survivors. Friends, please keep listening to Maitri podcast and share it with your friends, family, and on your social media platforms. Find all seasons of our podcast Between Friends on SoundCloud, Apple, Google, and Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcast. So thank you so much, Anju, for coming to our show and sharing your story with us. I'm your host, Nandini Ray, signing off today, but we will keep talking about these issues till we engage all our community members in the prevention work. Happy holidays. We will come back again with another story. Till then, enjoy your life with your friends and family and stay safe. Thank you.
This show is for informational purposes only and is not to be construed as legal advice. Always consult an attorney for legal advice. Views expressed by guests of the radio show are individual opinions and not endorsed by Maitri.
This project was made possible by funding provided by Santa Clara County Office of Gender-Based Violence Prevention.